Good morning, this is Learn Brizy. I am JP, and in this long full tutorial, we are going to make a business development website, one-pager in Brizy Cloud free. So you can make this site without spending 1 cent. You have to invest nothing. You can just follow along, or you can go out and go onto Brizy Cloud, open an account for free, and follow along for free. The images, unfortunately, that I'll be using in this tutorial, I cannot share. I got them from freepik.com. I don't get any money for advertising them, but I think for me personally, freepik.com is probably one of the cheapest. I found stock photo sites on the internet with a huge selection, including vectors and other kinds of files for Photoshop, etc. Let's begin our journey, and I'm going to use Microsoft. This is New Edge, right? Yeah, the New Edge. And the reason I'm using this is because I have my Brizy Cloud free account set up on Edge and my Brizy Cloud Pro account set up on Chrome. And if you know something about the new Microsoft Edge that runs on Chrome, it performs just as well as Chrome. Maybe the search results still not on the same level as Chrome. That's just my own opinion. But in terms of performance, nothing wrong with that. Going to Brizy Cloud, and to access your dashboard, you can just type in brizy.cloud/dashboard. And I'm struggling with my sibilance this morning a little bit. Now, here is my project, and this is your free Brizy Cloud dashboard. The way you know that you are in Brizy Cloud free is that if you go up here where it says My Personal Projects, which is kind of like a project manager or client manager, and you click on the drop down, you will see it says create new account, and if it says upgrade, it means you cannot create more accounts, which means you, my friend, is working in Brizy Cloud free. Let's have a look at the site that I will be making today. This one, business development, and what is that? Not enough space. Demo, right? And this one opens it up for us on the front end. This is focused on something like a consulting business site or one-pager that you're going to create for a client or for your own business. And I think this is a very snazzy, minimalistic in some way design, not 100% minimalistic, because there are a few little animations thrown in here and there to spice things up. We got our hero header here at the top, and then we've got some information. And you will see, of course, that the text doesn't make any sense at all because we're using lorem ipsum. We don't want to spend time. Your client or you yourself is going to replace this text with something that is marvelous, just marvelous. And then we have maybe something here on your expertise, a little bit here more with a few buttons to reach you. Then a gallery showing how hard you work. And then Pierce Brosnan, he's over here. Almost looks like Pierce, right? And then he's over here with a little bit of a testimonial with 3 more testimonials down here, a call us, call out, and then a contact form here at the bottom. And this form entirely free within Brizy Cloud. And then here a little bit of footer with a hyperlink here to take you to Madman Productions, which I just added this little photo in there. Just to show you a few other things, you can see up here we have a site title, Business Development / what is that? Pipe. They call it a pipe home. And then you also have here Reach Us. If you click on this, it will scroll to where the form is. So there are no external links in this one because that is a limitation of Brizy Cloud. You can only make 1 page per project. As usual, these tutorials go on for quite some time. So go grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit back and relax. We know the world is near its end and everything is just going bananas, my friend. And for that, we hope that this can take some of that idle time away and off your hands, and you can even learn something here. In fact, before I continue, I was just looking at the paradigm shift that we are entering in terms of the business world recently and discussing this with people. There is going to be a strong move towards e-commerce, I believe, in the coming months. And it is something that we have to explore, and you have to think about how you can promote yourself and reach out to people who have the normal brick and mortar shops and kind of convince them, do this. You need to start and bring your stuff online. And the example I was discussing yesterday with my father actually is over a butcher in our hometown that is going bankrupt at this moment because people just don't want to park near that area anymore because the parking is too expensive. And the question came up, can you do delivery of meat and people buy online? And the answer is, why not? But before we go totally in that is my point today, is that we, as people who can make websites and website developers, need to start thinking that there is a great opportunity coming, because if we like it or not, there is a business paradigm shift in the works as we speak. Many people working from home, and I believe many companies are going to realize after 2 or 3 months, wait a minute, I'm saving so much money on overheads. These people are sitting at home. It appears they're still doing a good job. Why should I have office? And then you're even going to have small businesses that are going to go out of business. So it's a very, very dark time for us, but with darkness comes light. Sounds like something, I'm not sure which movie that should come from, either Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. Enough of that. Let's begin building out our project. And you log in, you go to create new project, and then over here, you're going to select create. You will see this pop up an alert here on the right. Totally ignore it. I think they should put a pro little button up here, pro label, because even if you go through this entire process and you create this, you cannot use it. It's only available in Brizy Cloud Pro. So website and landing page created. And then where are we here? It's project number 3. And I'm going to call this one just business development final. And I'm probably not going to see that either. And then you click on it. Now, you know that Brizy will assign, like these sites over here, they will assign those sites for you automatically if you want to use a free URL. Then you can just use that, which I've done. That is lime1129976.brizy.site. To do that, you click here on Publish. And then when you click on Publish, you're going to select here subdomain and choose that. And you will see it says raspberry11303669.brizy.site. These custom extensions or these custom names come in with a fruit at the beginning and then a random number at the end. And you can change that. So I'm going to type in here, and not use caps, businessdev.brizy.site. Then you click submit. If this name has not been used yet, you're going to get a little green tick here at the top that says done and take you back into the dashboard. You will not see that update here in Publish. Not sure why, but if you want to see it at the very beginning, what you need to do is first go into the builder. To do that, you click here on Edit Project, and that will take you into the Brizy Builder. For this one time, in the bottom, you will see it says here Publish instead of Update. And when you click on Publish, after that, it will says Update. If you go back now to your dashboard on the front end, you will see now that that URL extension has updated. Right there you see businessdev.brizy.site. If you have your own custom domain, you're going to click here and you'll go here to choose, and you will enter that over here and set up all those other things that you have to do behind the scene. We're going to be happy with this one because that's one of the great features. You know, it's for free. It's totally for free. And if you're just making it for somebody and you charge them a little bit for that and you give them this free site and they're happy with it and you're happy with it, you know, do it. It's great. Let's begin building it. And to do that, you click here on Edit Project and we enter hand in hand with our friend Brizy, the builder. And just for your information, when it comes to the Brizy Builder, this is a central product in the Brizy ecosystem. So whether you are using the Brizy WordPress plugin or Brizy Cloud, the builder is central to those two platforms, and the builder is kind of identical between them. The differences usually come between free and pro. This tutorial, we're only focusing on free. On the left here under styling, you know that if you've worked with Brizy, you have these colors and global colors, and you have styles as well as these heading presets that you can use. If you are working with a multi-page site, I would probably go and change all these colors before I start building and set up all my styles before I start building. So that when I get to page number 2, like a About Us page, I can just use these. And if I make any changes to that site later and I do it here, it will make those changes across my site. My workflow, though, when I work with a single page is very ad hoc in that sense. I don't make all those efforts here, except if I know I'm going to use something again and again, like the paragraph, then I'll make some changes there. But mostly for the headings, I'll just build it out on the page. And what I do is when I want to replicate a certain feature, I just duplicate that element and use it again. Let's begin with our header, start building our page and add a blank block. Here's our block. Our settings up here in the top right-hand corner. Click on the block settings and we bring in our image first so we have something in the back to work with. Click on image, and with Brizy Cloud, you upload directly from your Explorer and your Finder in a Mac. Click on my hero and open that, brings in our background image. I'm really looking forward to the day that Brizy Cloud can have a media library manager where we can upload the images before the time. Not going to mess around with this, but I will apply an overlay. So go to colors over here, and this is where I'll start doing the ad hoc thing. I'm going to use black for my overlay, but instead of just doing it like so, what I'll do is I'll go to the styling, and then for this one here on the left, I will drag this all the way to the bottom left-hand corner until I see 00000, and that is pure black. Now I've set this swatch. I'm not going to worry about the rest. I'll add them as I go along. Go back to the block settings, over here, overlay. Make sure you click on the black, and you will see that we can see a little bit of the image come through in the back, and that's because this slider here, the opacity slider, is set to I think 90%. I'm going to bring in a little bit more, so let's take it to around 75. I think 75 is good. Bring in our text, and here we get the text, and I'm going to triple click on it and type and make it white first. Let's make it white first so we can see it, and white is usually here on the right. I like that. Black on the left, white on the right. And then I'm going to type in here, website development for your business. I want this to break into a second line at here 4. So what I'm going to do is press enter. What you have to remember though, the moment you break a line by using enter or return on your keyboard, when you then want to make any changes to all of this text, you have to highlight all of them. Shortcut key for that is Control A, Command A. And now, for example, if I go and put it in the center, it will nicely do that. If I click just on this one here at the bottom and I want to put it back on the left, you will see only the bottom one will move. And that's the purpose of highlighting everything now once you have committed that enter or return. Let's go style this title. I'll go to typography, and I want to use pop-ins for this because I love pop-ins when it pops. To do that, click on Add New Font. We have the option here to bring in Google Fonts. Then go to Font Name, type in Poppins, select Poppins, and continue. And it will load Poppins for you within a jiffy. Click on Done. Go back to the text, highlight everything, which is Control A, go T and Poppins. There we go. Now I'm going to style this. And I think I'm going to start off with putting it on 48 to see how that looks. I think I like that. And then here on the weight, let's choose between bold and black. No, I think bold is better. Now, if you know me, you know that when I work with headings, I like to set the line height on 1. And the reason for that is because headings are usually only in one line. Now, in this case, it's not going to work. And here I give you quickly a tip on typography. You see this P, this little thing here. Now I have to get my terminology right, is a descender. And the I that's going up above this line is a ascender. Now these two shouldn't be in this situation where the one basically overlaps the other. If you had the I under the P, the two would overlap. You need to bring in a little bit of space between them. Whereas then I would normally not add that line height. In this case, I will. So click again on T for typography and line height. And I'm going to increase it until I see that kind of space there between the P and the I. Let's put it on 1.4, even 1.5, rinky dinky. And then if I click outside, it looks okay. At this moment, I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just add another 8 pixels, make it 56. And there I made my own mistake. Control Z, Command Z to undo. Make sure you select everything. And then type in 56 again. Now we bring in a subheading under that text. I'm going to drop that one in here. And this is just going to be some text. And put it on white. Going to center align this one. And then let's go and find some lorem ipsum. I use lorem ipsum generator, which is loremipsum.io. And this just gives me a lot of text to work with. I choose 5 paragraphs, generate, so I don't work with the same text every time and dream about the same text every night. Select some random sentence here. Donec massa sapien. Okay, stop there. Copy that, go here, triple click to select the whole line, Control Command V, and we have our text there. For this one, I'm going to use a different font. I'm going to use Roboto Condensed. So let's go to T for typography, see if we have Roboto here. We have Roboto, but not Roboto Condensed. So we add it again, add new font, Google Fonts, go over here, Roboto, and there's Condensed. Actually, I like Roboto Mono a lot as well. And then it's done. Now we have to just go and put it there on Roboto Condensed. Now to see the difference in how I work between these two text elements, as you can see here, I'm not selecting anything. I just click anywhere on the sentence, and then when I make changes here, it applies to the whole sentence. And that you can do when you haven't applied that line or return break. Just remember that. And I think we're going to put this one at 18 to make it just a little bit more legible. I keep wanting to say eligible. And as you know me, the line height, I'm going to reduce that to 1. And this is a very good case where the line height is kind of irrelevant because you don't have 2 lines on top of each other. So the line height is not that important. Bring in a button, go to Add Elements, and our button friend is up here. Let's drag it and drop it. Before we continue with the button, while this manager here for the elements is open, when I work on a site often, I like to get rid of the stuff that I'm not going to use. And you can do that in free. It's not a big issue because we only have these buttons. But if you have Pro, especially if you have WordPress plugin Pro, you will know that this is getting more and more and more. Eventually, it's going to become very crowded. So to get rid of that crowd and apply some social distancing, you click up here on Edit and you deselect the ones that you're not going to use. I'm not going to use audio, no video, map no, embed no, form yes, icon box, countdown, and there's a dog there. And tabs, process, and accordion. Progress, and the rest I'm all going to use, say done. You see, that's all I'm going to use to build out this magnificent website. Let's go back to our button. Click on it and type in reach us. And then let's begin styling our button. Click here. And I'm going to actually leave everything as it is, except I'm going to remove the icon. Then next I'm going to go for my typography of the button, typography. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but here is where the line height is kind of strange to me that it is applied by default. Because if you look carefully, you will see that the space at the top, the space here at the bottom is a little bit more than the one at the top. And that makes me just feel unsettled. I see that and it bothers me. And it's because of this line height that has been applied. So if I reduce it all the way to 1, it looks a little bit better. If you need more space now, top and bottom, you go over here, back here to size, click on the 3 dots, and then the height, you adjust that over here. So let's put it on 20. And I still believe I can see it's uneven. Sure, it can bother me so much. Let's go back to the T for typography because we're going to put this one on Poppins. And then that's a little bit difficult to read. Let's put it on medium. And then we increase that to 18. I think 18 works for us. That's it. And should we add a little bit of letter spacing? Let's add that 0.5 of letter spacing over there. Let's talk about the color of the button. Now you saw that when we brought in this button, it came in with this teal turquoise color. If I click on it, you will see that it applied the swatch, and this is the default color for buttons and icons that come in. So instead again of changing that color here, let's go and change the color in the styling on the sidebar over here so that we can always have that color. And I'm going to use that little creamy brown color, which is, what is that? BBA07A. BBA07A. I just paste the code in here and you can see the color also changes over there. Look at colors now, and then the only thing I want to change is I want to have a different background when people hover over it. Over here, you go to this one that says hover, activate it, and now I'm going to use this color here as my hover color, but I'm going to use a different color. And you see opacity is applied here. I want to have it solid, so move it all the way to the top 100%, then it is solid. Like I said, that's not the color I want to use, but it's the second swatch from the left. So click outside just to show you how that will work as I hover over it. Then we go to styling, choose the second color swatch from the left, highlight the code and paste your code. In this case, it is 344D6C. 344D6C. This is what I'm using, that nice little off navy blue. This is how it looks. The other thing that I like to do with the buttons and hover animation within Brizy is that I like to shorten the duration when that transition happens. So you will see from this tan color to the blue, it takes a short time. I like to do that faster. To do that, you click where you want this animation to be shortened, which is the button. And then you click here on More Settings, Advanced, and you will see the hover transition setting over here, and I'll reduce that to around 20, just in half. Make it a little bit more abrupt. I like that quick feedback. This, of course, is totally too squashed. So what we will do is bring in a spacer between our subheading and our button. And I think this already looks much better. What do you say, Sally? Sally says yes. Now I'm going to add space at the top. Just click and drag here, where you see the blue bar. And at the bottom, I'm going to add a lot of space. You'll see soon why I'm doing that. So I'm just going to like 320 pixels. We can add more later. To make sure that we get this guy in image and not that he's looking to the horseless horseman up there, the headless horseman up there, horseless horseman. That's a case, right? Let's go back to our background, and here where we have the focal selector, I'm just going to make sure that his mug stays in there. This guy, he doesn't have a face, the image doesn't have it, but he's got a chin. So he's like Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. There we go. And that's it. Let's update it. Our header is done, and quickly view it on the front end to look at it in awe. But before we continue, this is the step that I always forget, and when I forget, I want to slap myself. That is to have a look at how this will display on tablet and then on cell phone. For that, you go here to the sidebar on the left, and you will see the little desktop icon here. You can choose between desktop and tablet, and you can also choose mobile. Let's put it back on desktop because I'm going to be switching among these views. And you won't see me go here every time and select them like so, but you will just see the following happen. And I'm doing that by using the Control minus or Control plus, if you're on the Mac, it's Command, on my keyboard. To go one level down, so one view down, desktop, tablet, mobile, you use the minus. So Control minus and another minus takes you into your mobile display. If you press Control minus again, it takes you back to desktop. So it's like a cycle. And if you want to go one level up, you use plus. So here in the mobile view, Control Command plus, it will take you to tablet and then to desktop. So make a note of that. When you see me cycling through these views and you're like, hey, how did he get there? I just told you, how did I get there? So Control minus, let's go down. And what I see here is enough for me to say, let's leave it for now. I'll come back when I'm doing the next section probably and make some changes here. Control minus, this one I think we're going to make a few changes. One of the things that you have to take into consideration that the distance from left to right, your width, in Brizy Mobile is a little bit wider than many other displays out there like the iPhone X and Samsung Galaxy. So what I like to do is go up here to the block settings, and then here where you see padding on the left and the right, I make that 25. That gives me a little bit more space. Now I go here, click on the text, but remember we've added that enter, so you have to highlight everything. And from 36, I'm going to go to 38, or 56 to 38. And I think that looks good. Let's go to the next one. 18, let's put it on 16. 16 works for us. And then I'm going to apply, because we know it's a cell phone and most people look at it these days in portrait mode, like so. Good. Do you like that? I think it looks okay. Let's go back to the top, Control plus and plus. And save is another shortcut key that I use all the time, which is Control S, Command S. Let's bring in our next block and work on a few stats. Add a new block and add a blank block. And here we're going to make a number of changes. In the latest update to Brizy Cloud, it used to come in with 2 columns by default. Now it just comes in empty. You don't need a column when you want to bring in an element. Let me show you. If I click here on Add Elements and I bring in text, I can just drop it directly. This text, though, is now not within a column or a row. It's purely just in the container of the block. I would say that's okay if you're working with small little text, but in most cases, I would say rather go with some form of container. In this case, I'm going to bring in a row. Click on the Add Elements, and over here on the grid, I have my row element, and I'll drop it there. The row element always has columns, and it comes in by default with 2 columns. I'm going to be working here with 4 columns. Go to the column settings, click on that, and just click on the plus 2 times, and you have your 4 columns. This space here on the left and on the right, that is the canvas area. So this area here to here is the canvas area that is used within Brizy. I want to use a little bit more of this space. I think this, what I have in mind, I need a little bit more space. Go to your block settings, and then settings, you will see here the width is currently boxed. You can make it narrower, like so, but you cannot go beyond that 100%. But we can do that. So next to width on box, you are going to select full. Now this container will have no space on the left and the right. However, that's not really what I want either. I still want space there. And previously we used to do that by going to the column settings, and over here you will see the width. You can reduce it like this. But this is not going to work for me either. So let's put it back at 100%. And the reason it's not going to work for me, because I want to put an image in the column, but I want white space on the left and the right. Let's bring in an image first for the column so you can see what I'm talking about. So click here on the background for the column, click on image, and I'm using these guys shaking hands. Oh, Corona, let's shake some hands. And there we go. Let's add an overlay for it, white background, and I'm going to reduce it to around, again, 75% so we can see how this thing is being transmitted. Stop, enough of that. The issue I have is that I want white space here and I want white space here. So let's go back to that setting here. This is for the row. And when I reduce the width, oh, it actually works. Am I surprised? I am surprised. I am very surprised. I'm very surprised. Okay, I just learned something. Made myself look like a real fool. But now the problem is I already have the settings in my head. So even though I can do that, and I'm really surprised it can do that because the container is still there. So it must then be the contents inside. I'm going to leave it at 100%. I tried to sound very smart and I ended up learning. Let's put it that way. What I want to show you is how I'm going to bring in that width by using the block settings. Go to the block up here, go to settings, more settings, and then I'm going to increase the padding here on the right and the left, which is currently at 0. I'll add 100 pixels. I'm just going to type in 100 pixels. That's on the right. And this one, 100 pixels here. Ooh, that's 1,000. 100 pixels on the left. That's 10. Let's put it back at 100. Now we've got that space there. Good. Let's go back. And I'm going to make one change first because it will help you to visualize what I'm busy with here. I want this row container to overlap this block here at the top. And to do that, when you move things around on a page, you always think margins. Go to the row settings by clicking on the row, settings, and then select more settings. And to move it up, you will have to focus on your top margin. Here in your styling, you will find margin, but we're just going to work with the top margin. So deselect, because currently it's selected to apply to all of them. Deselect and focus here on the top margin. Grab it and drag it to the left, and you see how that moves. It goes to -100. And if you look here, yeah, we want it a little bit higher. We want it to come around here. How can I get it to go even higher? And you're simply going to type in that extra. So I'm going to click there and type in -200. And let's see, that looks better. That's more what I had in mind. Let's have a look. Right, so we're going to build out everything here in these areas. And then this overlaps here at the top. I want to give this also some corners. So go to the row settings, settings, more settings, and you'll see the corner over here. I'm going to drag that up to around 25 pixels. 25, there we go. Nice little round corners that we have there. Let's build out our bragging section, and I will do that by using these 4 columns. I'll put info here and then counters in these 3. To help me with that, I'm going to increase this one a little bit. So I'm going to take this and take it up to 33 1/3. So it takes up 1/3 of the space. Now 33 1/3 means that these remaining 3 will be 22.2 each, which doesn't work out perfectly every time, but it comes close enough for our purposes. 22.2. And then grab this one, drag this one until you see also 22.2. This one is 22.3. And no one can see that. Not even me. So we don't care about it. It's all in well what we've done here, but you'll see later it will revert back to quarters, quarters, quarters. Then we'll have to do it again. But to build it out the way you want it to look, you have to do that this way. Here we're going to bring in a title. So we need a text element for that. Under that, we're going to have some normal body text. So we bring in a text element for that. And then we're going to bring in a button. And we drop that there. Let's begin with this one. Highlight everything and let's bring in some random text for the title. Paste that. And what shall we go with here? I think we're going to go again with Poppins. I'll just leave it on custom. And I'm going to put this at 26. Go up. Oop. Oh, it keeps moving. That's a little bit annoying. 26 and put it on bold. And my line height, again, I cannot reduce it to 1 because we do have this line break. I'm going to take that down to 1.7 and leave my letter spacing. I'm going to change the color. Click here to this one over here. Then for the text. Now, because I'm going to use body text quite a number of times, you will see that by default, it comes in at paragraph. So instead of making changes every time I bring this in, I'll go here to my styling now and look for the paragraph over here and make my changes here. For that, I'm going to select Roboto Condensed and I'll put it on 18 because it is condensed, but I'm going to drop it on light still. And I'll just bring the spacing down to 1.8. There we've got that. Let's bring in some more text from Lorem Ipsum. Up to here. I think that's maybe a little too much. Select everything, Control Command V. No, that's fine. And that's how this one will play out. The color here, though, is set to this one here. So your paragraph and text element comes in with this gray. This is a little too light for us. What we're going to do is change this swatch here in the styling. Go to the second from the right, click on that, and we will make the changes here. But to do that, I'm going to do a shortcut, and I'm going to click on this one, the little gold, and copy that. Then go back here, paste, and then I'll grab the slider and just drag it down to apply more shade to it, make it darker. And you can view it here as you do that. Like that's all the way, but we don't want it all the way. We still want it over here. Good. So I got it. What is this? 494032. But I guarantee you tomorrow it will be a different number, but still close enough. 494032. And that is our text that we have added there. Let's style our button. Going to double click on it and says read about us, all in small letters. So I'm not making that any caps in there. Align the button to the left. Go over here to button settings, and what I will do is I will remove all fill. I just want the text like so. Let's go change the color of the text and click on text, and I'm going to use this one here. And then for the hover, let's use this gray here. See that? Something like that. I think I'm going to make the hover also blue. Ah, what did I just do? I changed the background. Control Z to undo that. Click again on it. Select text and hover. Ooh, a little issue again there. And then we're also going to put that on blue. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's change our typography. I'm going to put it on Poppins. Increase it to 18. And bold is good for me. And then line height, I'm going to reduce to 1. Go back to the settings of the button here. Go to the icon, and I'm going to change to a different icon. Under, I think we go to glyphs. Outline is just outline, glyphs is a fill. So I'm going to type in here again, arrow. And then look for an arrow. Oh, why this time I cannot? Ah, here we go. This arrow in the circle, point to the right. And then here for the size, I'm going to put that on 32. Great. So we've built that out. It doesn't look great yet because we need to apply white space around these borders, and that will make it look much better. But let's work on these 3 columns, and then we can do our spacing and get all of that fixed again, and then we come and apply that white space. Let's go to our first column, and we're going to talk about our satisfied customers that we have helped become successful. Bring in an icon element and drop it. And we are going to look for something like progress. So progress, here, there we go. But I want to use outline for this one. So you click on outline and click it. And I swear every time I search for these icons, I get different results. Click on it, go back to the icons. Let's make it bigger. That's 64. Let's put it on 72. Let me see if 72 or 84. I'm just increasing it. 84, that's good. I'm going to center it here vertically. And to do that, you go to the column settings up here. Settings, and here content. Choose this one to put it in the middle. Let's bring in a counter element next. Plus and counter here. Drag it where you see that thick gray line appear under our icon. Click on that, and let's put in a number here. I'm going to put in a number like, I wonder if I can use a comma, 1,202. No, let's just use 1,200. Don't be presumptuous. Let me see if I can put in a comma, if that will work. I don't think so. Yeah, comma doesn't come in. Would have been nice to have a comma there. I don't like these 2 or 3 second durations. I think that is too much. So I'm going to reduce that to 1 second. There we go. Let's just make it a weird number, 1,202. And we can make it start, let's say, at 900. Okay. Depends on what you want to do with that. Going to change the color to this blue over here. And then let's change our typography. Again, I'm going to use Poppins. I'm going to put it on bold. And we're going to increase that. I'll put it on 84. 84 is good, my lord. Take it down to 1. And there we have that. Then we just have a little label here at the bottom. Bring in a text element. Drop it here. Triple click to select everything. And in you type satisfied customers. Center align it. Let's put it on this one here. I will leave it there. And then go to typography. I'm going to use Poppins again for this one. 18, and I'm going to put it on semi-bold. Let's step away from it and look at it. I think this one is too big. So I'm going to go back to my typography, put it on 64. Maybe that is too small. No, I think 64 is fine. Strange thing about the counter, there's a hover effect. I just realized that. No idea why there's a hover effect for that. So to make sure that hover effect doesn't apply, click here on the hover and use the same color that you used for the default display. Now you won't have that, except there is clearly an opacity applied to the hover. There we go, put it full opacity. And now what did I do now? Let's go back here. Okay, it's just the display. Let's see. Yep. Huh? What am I doing wrong here? Hover, I'm going to change it. Okay. Doesn't want to work for me, Peter. Let me try it again. I am in hover, right? Let me oh no, I'm not in hover. Yes, I am in hover. Okay. Nope, doesn't want to work. Okay. No. Good grief, what have I done? Let's try it again. It was on this blue, right? And for some reason, it doesn't want, the hover just doesn't want to change. Very interesting. There it changed, but it doesn't like this blue at all. Interesting. Going to update that. Let's go have a look on the front end if that is still the case. Yeah, it's the case. It doesn't love me wanting to change the hover. So nothing I'm going to do about that. I want this text a little bit closer to the counter. So what I'll do is to move this closer to the counter. When I use that word move, you know that it means margins. Click on the text element, settings, more settings, go here to your margin, and then use your top margin and reduce that space. Okay, that's where we are. Now, remember we had put this one on 33 1/3 and these three on 22.2. To use this formatting that I've gotten here for these two, I'm just going to duplicate this column. But by doing so, I'm resetting all these margins that I've established. So let me show you. Duplicate, go here, and duplicate it again so that we can have 3. Then you go to these 3, right-click. Then you go to these 2, right-click, delete, right-click, delete. Now, if you come back to this column and you click here on the handle, you will see it's back at 25%. You may tell me, JP, why didn't you just leave it on 25% and then you come back later and you change it? The problem is I like to see how it will look from the beginning. That's why I had put it on 33 1/3%. But it's not the end of the world. It just means you're going to do the same thing a second time. And we do that all the time, right? Let's click here on the handle. We drag it again to 33 1/3%. Same procedure. And this one on 22.2. And this one also on 22.2. Now I've got it where I want it. I will begin to apply some padding now to make things look better. Let's go to the row element. Click on the settings and then more settings for the row. And I'm going to apply padding here to the top and to the bottom. And to do that, I'm going to click here. And for the top, I'm going to add around 50. Let's type in there 50 pixels. And for the bottom, 50 pixels. You're going to see slowly how this builds out to be a very nice little info section for us. Next, we need some spacing here. And we also want to add a little bit more space on this side in this column. You usually want your text a little bit further removed from the content that is to the right. So I will do that by applying padding inside this column. Go to the column settings, and then more settings, and we have the padding here. I'm going to use, instead of pixels, percentages this time. So I'll activate the percentages first, and then I'm going to put it on 5. And for my right, I'm just going to put that on 20, and then 5. And this one here on the left, I will reduce that a little bit to 10. 5, 20, 10. Let's have a look. Looking good, right? Not bad, not bad. And I want to tell you, that's it. We're done with this one. Or are we? We're not. We're going to apply a nice little shadow. Go to the row, colors, and you'll see shadow over here. Down here is where you apply the shadow. But once you have selected shadow, before you do anything here, grab your slider and just drag it, because once you do that, you see it applies 4021. 4021, and we don't want that. Let's put it now around there. Highlight this first one. Now this is dispersion. Think about sugar. If you take sugar and you throw it on the ground, that area where it falls will have more sugar. But to the side, it becomes less and less as it's scattered outwards. And that is what dispersion is all about. It means that the bigger dispersion you have, the more you're going to have this fade out gradient to the sides. I'm going to use a big number. I'm going to go there for 30. Let's see 30. And then this one here, you will see it has the 4 arrows, north, east, south, and west. And this will apply your border uniformly. And I'm going to apply there a border of 15. And then tap to the next one, 0 and 0. Now, as you can see, this is way too much in your face. And to take care of that, go back to your colors of your row, shadow, you reduce this almost here to around 20%. And you think you can hardly see that, you'd be right. And then when you remove it, you'll be wrong. See that big difference it makes? Let's put it back there on 20%. Gives us a nice little feeling of separation. Update. Let's preview it on the front end. I can smell breakfast being made. Let's just change those numbers, not the same numbers, and we change the labels as well. I'm going to put 915. Oh no, I have to type it in here. 915, and we put our start at 0. And then over here, we can say something like active projects. Oh, wow. I should rather say closed projects, not active projects. Let's change the icon as well. We can say project. I don't think there's anything for a project. Oh, okay. This one is cool. And then we go for this one. And we're going to look for a trophy. Then here for a counter. This one we're going to make less, like 224. Seems I like the number 2 and put that also on the 0. And then years combined experience. Years experience. That's our combined expertise. Good. Now we're done with this one. Let's save it, and then we have to go view it on our tablet, which is going to be challenging. Control Command minus. And here is where I always get to that part. Do I want to make significant changes? Let's see. I'm going to drag it down here. And then we have to apply padding first inside this row. You can see I'm going to just apply padding around. Go to the settings. And you will know now that if you click on the row and you click on settings, you will not see the more settings appear over here, because in the latest update, the more settings by default load in the responsive views and the sidebar is open here. Pretty nifty. Let's apply padding first. I'm going to link that and just increase it like this. And then for the margin, let's also drag it over the top one. Let's add another one of -200, same as we did with the desktop. No, that's too much according to Willie. 150, that's better. And then we have to make changes here. I think this is quite squashed, but we're going to do that. Let's put it on 32, 48, 64. 64 is good. And I'm just going to do that manually for all of them. And then here for our text, let's put that on 36. And I'm very curious what is going on here. Ah, it's because here of this text that we have here. Let me just change that. I was not focusing on what I was doing. I couldn't understand why these are scattered like that. And the reason for that is because of what we have here. Now, if I click here on Close Projects and I enter a line break, it's going to also apply on my desktop view. So I'm not in the mood for doing that, because then I affect my entire display. But to make and force this line break, I go to the settings of this one. And here I'll use the padding. And I'll go to the right. There we go. I just apply that. If you have no idea what I did, watch it again. I think the rest is good. Do you think it looks good? I think it looks pretty. I think it looks very nice on a tablet. Even your mom will be impressed. Then let's go to mobile, Control minus, and now we're going to have them stacked. So we do need to make a few changes here. Again, we'll have to apply padding. Otherwise, you have all this text all the way to the border. It doesn't look good. Go to the row settings and then padding here. I'm just going to link them all and let's increase them. Remember, I said my minimum of 25. For me, that works because then usually on an iPhone, it looks fine. The other thing that you have to make decisions on is alignment of text to keep it uniform. You will see our text here is center aligned. And then these counters here, they're all center aligned. Luckily, we can do that in responsive view. So click on this text and align it to the center, and same for this one, align it to the center. Looks much, much better. What do you say? Do you like what you've done? I think so. We could probably add some padding here at the top, or we can even move it. Let's go and move it over to the top. Where's our margin? And then top margin, what is that? Minus 100. Okay, yeah, not too bad. I think we need to add a little bit more. There we go. Ooh la la. Control plus, Control S to save the work. Next one, blank block. And we are going to work with 2 columns. I'm going to build out the content in this column, and I'll have a above title. This is what Brizy calls it. I like it actually. Above title, grab a text, then I'll have a heading, and then under that I'll have paragraph, then I'll have a spacer, and then I'll have a button. But I'm not going to bring in a button. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this button like so. Click and hold and drag, and then when you get to the bottom of the page, use page down on your keyboard, and it will jump like this, and I'll drop it here. And I'll just for now already align this one to the left. I'm going to use the same button, exactly the same. Let's build out this, select everything, and I'm going to call this Business Consulting. Because I will use this a few times, I'm going to assign it a style. So go to T for typography, and over here, I'm going to assign it above title. But I don't want to use this font. So to change that for the style, I go to the sidebar, styling, and then look for above title over here. I click on it. I select Poppins, size 16, weight, semi-bold. I'm going to put my line height on 1, and letter spacing on 2. Then click on it again to change the color to this third from the left. Now let's go and change our heading title. Let's grab some text first for that, something short. We can make our own short title for that. Let me use this one. Copy. Triple click. Control V, and I'm going to use again a set heading for this, so I'll choose heading 2. I'll just leave heading 1 for now. To make those changes, go again to the styling and look for heading 2, and I'm going to put it on Poppins. Increase it to what? Let's say 40, keep it on bold. Line height, let me give it a little bit more space, 1.4, and the letter spacing at minus 1.5, I think that looks fine. Let's click on the text and change the color to this blue that we have. And then this one, we've already applied the paragraph settings, so we don't need to change anything, but we could just substitute it with some lorem ipsum text to give some diversity to our site. As you know, the only thing that's left now, when you put everything inside a column, you do need to apply some padding to that column. I'll go to the column, settings, more settings, and I'm going to do the lazy thing. I'm going to select everything and I'll put it on percentage, but I think 15 is too much. I'll just put it on 10%, all of them. And do you see, just with that padding we've applied uniformly, immediately it looks like a decent little section on your page. Now I'm going to rock your world. We are here on the left in this column, but we're going to work with the column first. Click on the column settings and select the background. Image, and I'm going to upload this tune table. What I'll do is I'll drag it a little bit to the left so we can see. That's not tea, that's definitely coffee. And now I'm going to bring in an image. What are you doing, JB? Click on the image, and I'm going to upload the image. Lady talking on the phone. And then I'm going to forget about her for now. And I'm going to work on the column. What I want is for a little bit more white space here inside the column. Go to the column, settings, more settings. And to apply that white space, we have to move things away. And that's going to be done with the margin. Click here on the margin. And then on the right, I'm just going to grab this slider and drag it. And you see it adds that white space around there. What is that? 67. I hate those numbers, but I'm forcing myself to live with the randomness. So I'm going to accept the 67. The other thing I want to do is add also more white space here at the bottom. So I'm going to drag that like so to around more or less the same number. Oh, let's put it here. Got it? Now go click on your image, select your settings, and the first thing we're going to do is put it on 100%. And then we are going to try and make this image a square. So did you see what I did there? I dragged it in. And once I got that, I drag it out to a square. I want to have it look like a square. Good. Settings. Now you go to more settings. Again, you go to your margins, and I'm going to move it down. I can move it all the way to 100%. And then I want to move it to the right. And to do that, you grab this slider on the right and move it to the left. And then I'm also going to reduce the bottom, drag it up like this. Let's make it a little bit less there. And to the left. And this is usually a little bit of playing around. I'm going to make that 150. Okay. So we've achieved this kind of effect. I am very scared often to work with negative margins because I never really know how I got there. And sometimes you play around for hours and you get it. Sometimes you do it on the first beat and it works just perfectly and you're very happy with yourself. And then when you come back like now, I cannot really show you how to do it again. But we have applied this very nice effect. A few things we're going to do here to make it all look CCC. First one, click on the image and I'm just going to increase the focus a little bit here. Go to the zoom and drag that so we can have her a little bit more prominent. And then go here to colors and I'm going to apply a shadow. And I'm going to do more or less the same that we did before, but this time I'm not going to apply the shadow all around, but only to the right and to the bottom. Again, before you make any changes here, grab the slider because it applies that default 4 to 1. The 4 is a little too low for me, so I'm going to add in something again like 20 to have a huge dispersion. You see that? And then tab to the next one, tab again, and type in 5 and a 5. I work between 3 to 5 for these. It's way too harsh, so we reduce it to around 20%. And again, you just have that slight little separation. Perfect. What else we're going to do here is bring in some animation. We bring in the column animation, click on that, settings, more settings, and we're going to go to advanced. Here is entrance animation. Scroll down until you see fade in left. And I'm going to say fade in left big. Duration, I'll make it slower to around 2 seconds. Right? And then go to the image itself of the lady. Again, settings, more settings, advanced entrance animation. And I'm going to say fade in up. And the duration, I'm going to put it also at 2. And delay, I'm going to increase to around 1.3. So let's see how all of this will play out on the front end. Update and preview. We've built 3 sections already. Good job. Here is our header with the headless horseman, our bragging section, and then we have these images come in. Whew, that was a little bit of a emotional ride there with motion sickness bringing in that animation. Okay, but we've got 3 good-looking sections for a business development site. You should feel proud of what you've done so far. Let's push it a little bit further. Add a new block. This time we put on a black background. The reason we switch around these backgrounds is to bring in that kind of separation. You will often see that there are light and dark versions of blocks. I'll work with 2 columns and we'll focus on this one first. Again, I want more space. So what I'll do, go to my block, width, I'm going to put it on full, more settings, and then under styling, I will have 200 pixels on the left. This is right. And 200 pixels on the right left, the correct left. There we go. So this is what I want to achieve here. I want to have again a buff title. I want to have again a heading paragraph. And like I've mentioned to you before, instead of building that up and then selecting the typography every time, what I'll do is I'll just go up here and I'm going to duplicate these things. Click and drag on this one and drop it. Same for this one, duplicate. Click and drag and drop the copy. Same here. And it's not lazy. It's called smart. Same with the button. And drag that one there. Then we're going to make some changes here. So I'll leave this one business consulting. You can change the above title. What I'm going to do here is change the color. Let's make it white. Let's change the text as well to something else. Maybe that is too much. Let's just go for 2 lines, but let's see. Control V. Ooh, way too much. All right, delete. What did I just do? Control Z. Control Z. Okay, that looks better, except I know what I'm going to do later, so I'm going to delete that as well. Delete. Backspace. Okay, good. See, I didn't need to change anything here. Let's go grab a long paragraph of that one. Copy. Go back. Select everything. Control V. And let's put it on white. And I also want people to pay attention maybe to the last 2 sentences. So I'll highlight these 2 sentences. You see they're highlighted. And once they're highlighted, you can click bold and it will only apply to the highlighted area. If you didn't highlight it and you just have your cursor there somewhere and you click on B, it's going to put everything in bold. Control Command Z to undo. So if you only want to apply italics or bold to a specific character or specific sentence, you have to highlight that. Make sure of that. Let's get funky. I'll bring in a spacer. And then under the spacer, I'm going to bring in columns. And it's pink because it's a column within a column. And I'll delete one of these columns. Right click and delete. I'll bring in a text element. Drop it there. Let's paste some random text in there. Copy. Control A, Control V. Let's put it on white again. Go to the column settings and background for the overlay and choose this one. Go to our settings, more settings, and we apply our padding. And let's put it again on percentage. That's huge. Let's see what is 5% like. 5% is more reasonable. We like it at 5%. And we can even apply a little bit of corners. Where are we going to find those corners? More settings, there. Let's apply 5 pixels of corners just to make it round. Nice. Do you like it? I hope so. We're going to do something wacky again. Click here on your button. Go to settings. And then you want this button border here to align with this text line over here. To do that, we're going to work with the margin on the left here. Drag it like so until you see it lines up nicely with that text. And then go to the top margin and reduce it until you get to the middle of the word. You see reach is on that line. Have a look at it. Let's add a little bit more space here. To do that, click on the text element, go to settings, more settings, and I'm going to increase the margin here. Just a little bit. Ooh, pretty nice. Grab the handle of the column, reduce it to 40%. So we have 40 on this side and 60 on the other side. And let's see if that is too much. I still think it looks good, except here we have that, but it still looks good. But let's just move it. Which one is this? This one. There we go. Move it so it's aligned again. And I'll apply some padding. Go to the settings, more settings. I'm going to put everything on percentage, and then 5 there, 15 here, 5 here, but the one on the left I'm going to put at 0, like this. Good. 3 sentences here. Let's reduce it a little bit to only 2 sentences, like so, and delete. We got a nice little section going on there. Looks good, looks good. Bring in an image. Drop the image there and then click to upload the image. And we choose this man on phone. When I had created this block, I had applied padding to the block here on the right, but now I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Click on the block settings and more settings, and then the padding, I'm going to remove that completely. Ooh, that was the wrong side. Control Z if you make those mistakes. So again, right is over here and reduce that. Okay. I'm going to increase the height. Then I'm going to do the same trick that we did previously. Click on the image, settings, more settings. Let me scroll up. Then we go to the margin and drag it like so. That's -100. Let's make it -200. Good. Let's see how that looks. And then we drag here at the bars at the bottom around here. At the top, let's apply white space. And I'm dragging the padding here off this white block. Good. And then you can also apply an animation to this image. Where's the settings? Settings. More settings. Advanced animation. And we say fade in right. And let's slow that down. Like Selena Gomez will say. Slow it down. Good. We're done with this one. Let me see. Front end we go. Scroll. 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 Too slow, right? Let's go and change that to 1. That's just how it goes. Settings. More settings. Advanced, and make this 1. That was a little too slow for my taste. And update. Control minus, command minus to go down. Okay, this is probably not going to work for us, but it's not that bad. So all I do is I'm going to increase it like this. Hey, I like it. So let's just maybe increase the size of this one to 50%. And then for this one, we grab it and drag it down to 50% so it can go back to the previous line. I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad. The button, maybe here for our spacer, click there and just reduce that a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll add some space here. So I'm going to duplicate this spacer. Now I cannot duplicate it. Let's click on this one. And then here's our settings and the margins. I'm going to increase the button in this case to 30 pixels. And then go to the column settings. And I cannot change the column settings here. That's interesting. I thought I could put it in the center, but seems I can't. That's fine, because we're still happy with what we've got here. Everything works perfectly for us. Control minus again. And I will say, let's switch the image to the top. And to do that, simply go to any of the columns within the block, click on the settings, and where you see these two-sided reverse arrows that says reverse columns, click on that, and Pradeep shoots to the top. There we go. Then again here for this one, let's move it down. And this is ugly. I'm wondering if it's the same on tablet. Let me go have a look. Now, tablet is fine. So let's just go here to our column within a column and add padding to that. Okay. And then I think I'm going to remove that. Yes. So what I did there, Control Z to undo, is I clicked on the spacer, and over here I disabled the view for for cell phone. So when you see this on a cell phone, you will not see the space. Disable it. If you want to see that while it's still hidden, you just click here on this show hidden and you will see there it is, but it's not there. Confusing, right? And then Control plus, and we are almost there. Control S. And I know these videos go out for quite some time, and actually I will still say it's record time because I've prepared my images, I've prepared my color theme and the text I want to use as well as the typography. If you put all of that into consideration, even sitting down with a client, it's going to take you minimum half a day if you're already comfortable with this. And I know some people go, what half a day? It takes me weeks. It takes you a week to make one page if you just do it once in a blue moon. But if you try and make a page every day, trust me, you actually can. You can make more than one page per day. Your speed will all depend on your experience. So if you don't have clients, my recommendation to you is go to Brizy Cloud free and make a page a day. And you will quickly see how you will get better at this. But if you are waiting for people to approach you and when they do, you try only then, trust me, Bobby, you're going to take days and it's not going to look good. The more you do it, the more experience you get, the more you learn, the better you'll get at that. Thank you, teacher JP. Right, let's move to the next one, which is kind of like a gallery. Showcase your people, and it's always a good idea to have your team on a site or have your client's team on a site. That personalizes everything and people can connect better with that. Let's do the same thing I did earlier. I'll go to my settings and I'll put it on full. And then more settings, I'm going to give 200 pixels on both sides. 200 for the right, 200 for the left. And then we bring in 3 columns. Go up here, add another column. Then I'm going to bring in this above title. Again, just going to copy it. Then click and drag it. And the same for this one. Copy it. Click and drag it. And then over here, I'm going to leave that. Click here to change the color to our good friend, Mr. Navy Blue. And let's choose a different text. Select everything, Control Command V. And I'm just going to make this 2 lines. We have our 2 lines there. Let's see how that looks. And you see how much I did, almost nothing. Next, we bring in paragraph again, but we don't need to copy that. We can just bring in a text element because we've set the styling of the paragraph to what we want it to be. Grab some lorem ipsum text again. Over here. Copy. Triple click, Control V. I think we can add a little bit more here. Let's add this as well. Control V. And then what we are going to do here is duplicate this, click and hold and drag it to that one, and let's put in some different text for that one. Ooh. Copy. And Control V. So we've got this. So this is like an introduction section to your team, how amazing you guys are. And please don't tell me how much coffee you drink every day. I really don't need to know that. Then we're going to add some images here to give a feeling of your awesome office. Go to add elements and I bring columns and I'll drag it until I see that thick gray line that stretches the entire block width. And then I'll do the same. I'm going to add a column, bring in an image, and drop it there. Click on it and upload your image. We go to these guys. And I'm always amazed at how happy everyone is in these photos. I'll grab the handle at the bottom and just reduce it a little bit to give us the same kind of dimension that we have up there. Then I'm going to duplicate it. Let's bring in another image here. I want this guy. And I can duplicate the images and drag them over, or I can just go to the column, duplicate it twice, go to these 2 columns, right click, delete, right click, delete. And then we just change these images. Oh, click here. Image. Go to the next one already. Delete. And which one did I have here? Here. image delete. And we bring in Freddy. Where's Freddy? Freddy, are you working? Of course, Jason. I just finished the latest report. Click on this one, delete. Right. Where's that image? Right. So I think it looks fine, but I'll just want to add a little bit of separation here. So I'll bring in a spacer for that. Remember, space is your friend, right? Except if you're like Brad Pitt, trapped in Ad Astra, and you're running out of oxygen, space is not your friend. Update. And let's go and see how it will display on a tablet. Ooh, not bad, but I'll reduce this space. I think those small images still work on a tablet. And then on mobile, they're going to be like this. Here is the one thing I always tell people. On a mobile, you really have to think of a commuter. And I always imagine a commuter, somebody somewhere in a subway, on a train, and they're standing there holding with their left hand onto the rail and the right hand they're scrolling with their thumb. And they just want to have some information. If your photos are just contextual, like these are, and what I mean by that is they just provide some idea of what your site is about or your company is about, then having 6 to 200 pictures isn't a good idea. It's better to have a few ones that are really impactful. And to make sure you don't have all these images, you just disable some of them. So go and choose the ones that are boring. For example, this one here, somebody typing, and you click here on this little eye and it's gone. Same one here, who wants to look at a pie chart? Click on that and you see people. People always draw attention, except if you have cats. Cats outnumber people by attention anytime you have that. And dogs and cats. You can even throw in a chameleon. It's more interesting than people. If you want to know what had happened to those disabled elements, like I had shown you earlier, go here to the bottom taskbar on the right and click here on this Show Hidden Elements, and you will see these two. They are blurred. That shows you that they will not appear on your mobile view. The reason they are blurred is so that you know they are there, but they are not being displayed. But if you want to have a good understanding of how it will look, you activate this one and it will go away. I just remembered something when I saw this text up here. Remember what I told you about text? And I did it here at the top. Go to your block settings and make sure that you put your padding and left and right on 25 and 25. That will make sure that those cell phones, and this one as well, 25, those cell phones with narrow displays will be able not to cut anything off. So this is something that I do. It's just my own little habit. 25. Sometimes I even push it up to 35. Okay, and it still all looks really good. So we've got Freddy there talking to Bob, going to complain to his wife tonight that Bob is always checking up on him, but that's Bob's work. Update, and then Control plus, Command plus to take us to the front end. And you know, when I start talking nonsense, it means I'm tired. Okay, let's have a look at the preview. And I think we have 2 more sections to go. No, 3. Here we have this, our little bragging section, more about us, more about our CEO. Yes, CEO, this is what we can call this section. And then about the team, what we do. And next we're going to bring in testimonials because we want other people to talk about us. Oh, you're so great. And to do that, we bring in a testimonial. And we're going to bring in handsome looking people for that. Okay, bring in a column. That's what I did over there. And the same thing like before is I'm going to give a little bit more space. I'm not too concerned about the right, but I'll still do that. Settings, full. And you know what you should do when you do this again and again is you should just make a block and just copy it or save it and use it again. Yeah, let me show you how to do that. I'm going to put this on full. More settings, and then over here 200 pixels. That's what I'm using for the right, and 200 pixels for the left. And that is the standard block that I probably should have done way back up here. Now, instead of building it out now, I go to the block here and I go to save. Not global blocks, because if I make changes then to this one, it will change everything. I'll just go to save. Let's delete the block and I show you what happens. Add a new block. I go to my save blocks up here And that default block is there. You can call it your default template that you want to work on. Bring in 2 columns. Column number 1, column number 2. And I'm going to build out first a little bit about our handsome guy telling us something about our company. Let's bring in a heading. And I click on this one, duplicate it, click and drag. And if I cannot go down, remember page down on your keyboard and drop it over here. Then I'll bring in some stars. Icon. Drop that there. Click on the icon. Go to the icon settings, 32. No, I'm going to reduce it to 24. And then I will align it over here to the left. I'll duplicate it 4 times. Go to the settings, and here with the spacing, reduce it just a little bit to 7 pixels. And now I have a 5-star rating. Thank you very much. Go to, let's choose this text up here, duplicate it, click and drag, page down, drop it here. And this is a testimonial, so I'm going to click here in the front and put quotation marks. This testimonial is too long, so I'll delete it from here. Full stop and quotation marks. And I'm going to add his signature below that. Bring in an image, click on the image. And in case you didn't know, you'll see the signature has this little icon here. It's a SVG. You don't need to activate SVG within Brizy Cloud. It's already activated. Click on it, grab the handles. I'll drag it to around here and then align it to the left. Let's bring in padding. Go to the padding, settings, and more settings. 515. What I'll do is here for the right, I'm going to put that on percentage. Now the right, of course, is this area. And I haven't used this feature at all during this tutorial, but if you have content like this here on the right and the sidebar is overlapping it, simply go up here to the sidebar and click here on aligned right. Now you have it over here so you can see what's going on over there. So I've got 15, I'm going to put that on 30 pixels actually. So you have all this white space. And then I'm going to add space over here. I'm going to put just that on percentage and we have the same effect here. Put my sidebar back on the right. And now let's bring in an image. Image. And we bring in Pierce, whatever his name is. Where is Pierce over there? And important, when you want to bring in an image and apply a circle outline to it, best is to bring in an image at a ratio of 1:1, which means your width and your sides are the same. So I think this one is around 900 by 900 pixels, can be 700 by 700. Just make sure they are squared. And then after you brought it in, go to settings and make sure that your height is set to 100%. And then you've got that square. Now, when you go to corner and you click here on rounded, it's going to give you the circle. Nothing more you need to do. Let's go to the column on the right, settings, and we just put vertically centered everything. Ooh, looks so good. Click on the image. We're going to roll Pierce in. More settings, advanced, entrance animation, scroll to the bottom, roll in. This guy rolls into a room like you wouldn't believe it. Let's have a look. Tablet. You're going to roll in here too? I guess it's going to roll in there too. This is where we want to add padding here on the left. So we go here to the column settings and I'm going to put it on percentage and percentage. Let's see. I think that looks okay. And then we go to mobile. Scroll down, down. And the first thing I'll do is I'll go to my block and add 25 pixels to the right and to the left. And then I'm going to center align this. Good. And I think in this case, because we have these images up here, I don't want it confused with Pierce over here. So what I'll do is I'll go to the columns of this block and I'll switch them around in this case. Control plus. Let's update Control Command S and view it on the front end. Now we're almost done. I can smell the coffee that's waiting for me. Nice. And you can put animation on these images as well. Ah, I didn't see Pierce roll in. We'll get to see that again. Let's add a few more things down here to bling up and glamour up, embellish our testimonial section. I'll bring in a column or column element down here. And then I'm going to add a third column. Already I can see we will need space here. So let's bring in a spacer. Drop it there with the line that stretches all the way from the left to the right. Okay. Then in this column, I'm going to bring in another column. Okay. Okay. And then let's start building out first the contents of this column. Over here, I'll have a little quote or a title, what you want to call it. So let me bring in, I'm going to copy this one, copy, click and drag, drop it in there. And then an above title, this one, copy, drag it down, page down, page down, page down, drop it here. And then I'll drag this one to 60%. Get to that 60% so I can rest. And I think it's not going to give me the 60%. Okay, I'm leaving it at 60.1. Click on this, go to typography, and let's reduce it by half. I'm going to put it on 20. That's better. And I will put it also on normal in this case. No, normal is too normal. Medium, medium is too medium. Let's put it on semi-bold. Semi-bold looks good. And I think I'm going to reduce it to 24 instead. See? Yeah, I think that looks fine. Bring an image over here, emoji, and we bring in a photo of this lady, and you can see it's square, 1 by 1, 400 by 400 pixels, because again, I'm going to apply a circular effect. Bring in the image, go to your settings, make sure your height is on 100%, and then after that, you put it on circle like so. Good. Going to click here on this pink column, settings, and align it in the middle. Now we have our quote. I will copy this one up here and click and drag until you see the gray line that stretches across the entire blue column and drop it. Ah, do you see what I did there? I guess you did if you weren't asleep. Now we're going to add padding to this column. Let's go to the column, settings, more settings, and I'm going to add padding by just putting all of this on percentage. But that 15 is a little too much. I'll bring that down to 10 and 10. And why is it looking like this here? Why is it not on the same, what is this, y-axis as this one here? And that's because there is padding applied by default to the second column. Let's go to that one. Settings, more settings. And for the left, I'm just going to reduce those pixels to 0. Now we have it where we want it to be. Go to the column and we'll apply a shadow similar to what we did at the top. It's over here, colors, shadow, and remember to drag it down first. And then I'm going to add this to around 20 pixels and I'm going to apply this across it. So I'm going to say 10. And then for the next two, I'm going to put it on 0 and 0. There we have that. Again, way too strong, so we bring it down around 20% just to get that separation. And that looks good. Now I'm going to copy this 2 times, duplicate it 2 times, and delete these. Right-click, delete, right-click, delete. Does that look good? Of course not. We need some space here, and we need some space here. And the way I'm going to do that is to apply margins on the left and the right. So let's go to the first column, settings, more settings, and then what am I doing? Okay, ooh, well, there's a slider that grabbed my attention. Let me just undo that. Something weird that happened there. Undo. Okay, let's try it again. Something got sticky there, literally. Okay, and then go to margins, deselect them, and for the right and the left, I'm going to add a margin of 20 pixels. And now you see we have those margins there. Next, go again to the first column, right-click, and choose Copy. Go to the second column, right-click, choose Paste Styles. Third column, the same Paste Styles. And now we just make some changes to the images. And because we have already applied those settings, we don't need to do it again. And we can also change the name. So let's call this one Lana Del Rome. And her shall be Brittany Spades. This will be Vanessa Huggies. We've got a very good looking, I'll add some spacer at the bottom. Add more space here with this spacer. Grab and drag it out. And even here at the top, I'll increase that. Really good. Oh, this is a testimonial section to write home about. I like it. Let's go look at this on tablet. Oi, ugly. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this and drag it all the way to 100%. Same for this one. And same for this one. Go to the settings over here for this column, and then margin is at the bottom. We're going to increase that. I'm just going to increase that with 40%, 40 pixels. Same for this one. I'll decrease this spacer up there. I think now if I look at it, the shadow is way too strong, but I'll leave it for now. Let's go down, let's go down. Ooh, ugly, right? As we said before. And what we'll do, let's see what we're going to do here. Now we have to think very carefully about this, Peter. Let's click on this one. Can that be 24? Something wrong there. I'm just going to click up and down 24. There's a little thing going on with that one. Same for this one. I'll center align it first and then click up once. That's better. And then for this one, let's see the settings. Size is 100%. I'm going to reduce it to 50%. And then I'll go, let's see. Now let me drag it out until I get my circle. There we go. That would be 40%. And then for this one, I am going to bring in some padding. I'm just going to link them and give it 20 padding. Let's see. Okay. That looks much better. So we do the same with these. I don't know why that is the case. Strange, right? Scroll down here. And Brittany, you need to go down to 40. Much better. And then the padding here we said is, what did we put it? 20. I forgot. 20 is good. Let's do the same. Vanessa is next. Size is 40. And then again for this one, I'm so used to clicking more settings and I forget it's sticky here. You can just click from there to there. Put it on 20 pixels. And now we've got a huge testimonial section with this guy somehow getting his own spinning wheel. No idea why he's so lucky. Go to the top, desktop. Maybe he's got very famous guy. Control S, Command S, and let's view it again. And I do the view again and again. I know it's something that could be a little bit tedious, but I think just having a look at how it will look on the front end really gives you an idea of how things are shaping out and if it looks proportionally all aligned. We're going to create a big Contact Us section with information. Let's bring in our saved block. I'm going to bring in our saved block this time. And then for the background, we bring in an image of people sitting somewhere and working. Where is that? This one. And apply a dark overlay to it. Go here, I apply black, and I bring it down again to around 75%. Bring in a row. I bring in a row, and then I will delete one column, right click delete. First I'll go to my row, all the way to colors, and there where you see border, I'm going to type in 1. And then I'll click this one, third from the left, and I've applied that border. Still with the row, go back to the settings, more settings, and then I'm going to delink the padding, and for the top, where is the top here, I'm going to add 100. Let's see, 100 is what I want, and at the bottom, another 100. That's what I want. Then I bring in a text element, triple click to select, and type in caps, call us now. Center align that, change the color to the third from the left, and let's go to above title here. It will apply that. Next, bring in another text element. Let's put it on white first, center align it, triple click, and say let's deactivate the caps, call us, and then plus 27 5 6 a number like that. And I'll put this on poppins again so it can pop, and choose bold. I'll reduce my line height to 1, and then let's increase the size to 40. Later spacing. Let's leave it on 0. And then one more, opening hours. Let's bring in a text element. Select it, put it on white, center align it, triple click to get everything selected. And I'm going to say Monday, and I'll put in a long dash, Saturday, colon from 10 to 1945. And I'll just put this on, roboto condense, it's already there. I like it like that. So a nice little section to call us, and then under this we bring in a form. And with the form we're going to cheat again. We're going to say add a new block, and we go to the blocks that's already here with kit 2. So if you don't see kit 2, make sure you don't have kit 1 selected. Kit 2, click on dark, and then go over here under categories to contact. And I use this one over here. Click on that. And what we're going to do is change the background color to this one. Go up here, delete one of these, select the rest, and then got some ideas for a project, question mark, and we can go and apply heading 2. Just there we go, heading 2. And I'll add a line here for a little bit of decoration. Click on the line element, I'll reduce it, then align it to the left. Let's change the color because now I cannot see it, this one. Then add a spacer between the line and the form. Right, and if you click on the form, you will see that it is already set to roboto condensed. And this is everything we want. We want you to have a subject, company, email, your name, and phone number. One word of caution, when you use a pre-made block form that comes from the kits, just go make sure that the fields are correct. Like subject, if you go here to field, must be text. Company should also be text. Email should be set to email. Your name should be text. And phone number should be text. Telephone, that's right. I'm wrong, they are right. Let's change the button. Okay, so this is our background, and we're going to put the text on white. And then for the background, I'm going to try and put it again on this one, and text on white. And then if I go to the settings, my corners, I want to, let's go to this one first, right? We put it on poppins, 16, and semi-bold, give it a little bit of letter spacing. I'm going to make that 18, reduce the line height to 1, then go back here, and I'll increase the height a little bit like that. There, we got a nice form. Then you only have to set up the form. So click here on submit, go to the little plug here on the right, and then you will see here, nothing you can do. And if you want to add reCAPTCHA, you can do that. If somebody were to complete this form now, those details will be stored on your site. I'll show you at the end where you can find those details. And then I'll just add a little footer at the bottom. So let's bring in a text element, and I'm not going to put that in a column. I'll drop that there. Spacer between that. Triple click everything, put it on white, center align it, and then I will say on, I don't know what's on a Mac. On Windows, it's Alt 1, what am I doing? Alt 1, Alt 0169. Huh? Did it do it? Now let's delete it. Try again. Alt 169, and there is my copyright. Copyright 2020. I'll have a pipe. Madman Productions. And that's it. But what I want to do for this one, reduce it a little bit. We can increase that. I want to link this text here, the Madman Productions, to probably the site or me who have created this page. And for that, I'm going to link it. To link it, highlight the part that you want to be linked. Click on the link icon and paste your link in there. I'll select Open in New tab. Click outside. I'll highlight it. I'll highlight it again. And I'll change the color of that hyperlink to a color I want. And then let's go for update. And it would be nice if I could remove the underline, but it's not the end of the world. Front page, view it. And then we have to go check quickly for tablet before I forget all about that. We've done this. That looks good, right? That by itself is very impressive. And then over here, if I click on Madman Productions, it's going to open my page, which I have put in that link. Let's go look at our tablets. That looks good. That looks good. I'll add space here though. And I'll reduce space here. And mobile. Mobile should give us some issues. Let's have a look. Mobile not bad. What are we going to do? No, we're going to reduce this. We have to reduce that. That looks better. And I think even that breaking in 2 lines is a good idea. Reduce this and reduce this. And our site is almost done. I say almost because there's a few things that we still need to do. Where am I? Over here. Let's save our work. The only thing I will still do is to go and link these buttons. What you want to achieve is when people click on this button, it will take them all the way to the bottom to this form. To do that, you go to the button, click on it, click on the link, and up here we see block. Scroll down until you see the contact form and click on it. Make sure it has that blue bounding box with the block name down there. Then next one over here. Do the same. And I think there's one more over here. Do the same. And that's it. There's one button here that we haven't done anything really a read about us. You can link that to another page, or if you, I'm not sure in Brizy Pro whether there will be a download file for it. Something you can decide. Maybe remove this if you have nothing to take it to. Control Command S to update, and then we're going to give our site a little bit of personality in terms of site title. To do that, go to the sidebar here at Settings, and then you will see our site settings over here. So we're going to call this Business Development Consulting, and you will add a little description over here. Let's add some random lorem ipsum. Control V, and then favicon is that little image that will appear up there in the top left hand corner, and you can select your favicon. There's my logo, and the moment I say save changes, nothing extraordinarily is going to happen here because you have to go view it on the front end. You also have social sharing where you can have different information and a different image. For example, if somebody were to share this page of yours on Facebook, it will draw that information from here with the image that you upload over here. So the site settings is the one that I'm interested in here. I'm just going to say save again, then close it. And just for good measure, click here on update. And then we go to the dashboard. Oh, we are done, right? Now I have to remember which one is which. I look here at the URL, and this is the site that we had just created, businessdev.brizy.site. Is this site any good? Let's have a look again how it displays on the front end. Click on Reach Us. It takes us to the form in a very, very quick fashion. And then everything else, Reach Us here as well. Everything else looks super good. Oh, pretty nice. Let's fill in the form to see if that works. Hi from me. The company is Hi from. Your name is JP and your email is jp@jp.com and your phone number is 056-239, something like that. Submit. And if it's all good, you're going to see this green shocking bar. Your email was sent successfully. And that's it, right? But let's go see where did that information go. If you go back here to the back end, if you go back to your dashboard in Brizy Cloud Free, here where it says business development, and this was final. You see the three dots up there. Click on that, and the information from your forms go into this area called leads. Click on leads, and there is the information. So everyone who comes to the site and they send you a message, it will appear here. Downside is you won't get any notification that you got information. So if you sit at home and you wonder if anyone is contacting you, your problem is you're not going to know. You'll have to come to the Brizy dashboard and come and check manually by yourself. Sometimes, the reality is that you don't expect anyone to contact you and then within 10 minutes you get 20 emails. Other times you were expecting an influx and then you sit and wait and nothing happens. So let's quickly review where we at. We are in Brizy Cloud Free. We had created this website, we had assigned a name, and we had built it out with the Brizy Builder completely free. We have gotten a URL businessdev.brizy.site, which is also free. You can use this URL, copy it, and you can open any other browser to test it with, send it to your friends, send it to your family, tell them, hey, look at this site that I've created, and then wait for the criticism to start. Have them test it for you. You test it as well, like clicking on the links and making sure, filling in the form that it works, and clicking on these links and that it takes you to the right place. Happy good day. And then let's go back to our page. Let's say eventually things don't work out. You and this client have a massive fallout and you want to punish them and you want to take their site offline. There are two ways you can do this. The first one is actually to go and change the URL. So if you click here and you go to subdomain, you can put in a different one. So I can just put in businessdev1 and submit. It's going to say done. On the other hand, you can also delete it. Go up here to the three dots and click on delete. I'm going to click on delete, but I'm too nervous. There's not a warning message. Let me go to the demo one. Click on delete and it will ask you, are you sure? And then you will click OK up there. And that's it. You've got your site. You can share it with others. You can collect the information and you didn't spend 1 cent. I hope this was useful. We'll tackle Brizy Cloud Pro very soon. And that opens up another world of opportunities. You can create pop-ups. And the other great thing about Brizy Cloud Pro is that you also have mailer integration within your forms. But we'll talk about that when we do the full tutorial on Brizy Cloud Pro. This is JP. Have a wonderful day.